Okay, the first book that I'd recommend and I particularly enjoyed is Jonathan Gould's book Can't Buy Me Love. One of the key things about this book that I particularly enjoyed is that Gould himself is a musician. So while he talks about what was happening behind the scenes and some of the cultural events that were happening during the Beatles' reign, he talks about the music that a guitar player like myself particularly enjoys. He talks about how some of the songs were made, the structure of the songs. It's fascinating. This would be, on reflection, one of the best books to read about the Beatles. The second book is the Beatles Gear by Andy Babuak. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. This is the first edition, so it's pretty good. It gives you a rundown on the Beatles gear, and being a gearhead, it's mandatory. So, and there's some good photos in there. Some photos that I hadn't seen. Some trade magazine photos. So yeah, if you're a gearhead, you need this. Now, the first edition doesn't have a discussion on the AC-15. I thought I had printed off, but the second edition corrects that. There's some photos there where John Lennon used the AC-15, Vox AC-15 amp. So yeah, that's a good book. The third book is the complete Beatles. The Complete Beatles Chronicle by Mark Lewisham, who is a Beatles scholar. More on him later. Now this is pretty good too, because this gives you a bit of a discussion on what was happening daily through the tenure of the Beatles. The definitive guide to the Beatles' entire career. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. The next book on my list is Tim Riley's Lennon, The Definitive Life, The Man, the Myth and the Music. Again, another good book. Good detail. There's another segment that I'll talk about, because I have a lot of Beatles books that are in digital format. But as a brief aside here, Tom Riley has a book, and he talks about the Beatles songs through their career, which is very interesting. We'll talk about that one later though. The next one is Paul McCartney's Many Years From Now by Barry Miles. This is a good book too because it came out 97, 94. This is so, and it clears up a few theories out there on who wrote what song and who contributed what. And as another YouTube channel stated when he did a review on this book, we have to take Paul McCartney at his word because you know, that's a relatively new book. So yeah, this is good. This is good. It talks about the songs, how the songs were made. There's a lot of detail about what happened with Apple. Yeah, I enjoyed that. The next one is the Gig Book by the Beatles, perfect for guitarists, keyboard players and other musicians. So it's got a selection of songs there, and has the tab and the music. Good book. The next one is the Beatles Complete Chord Songbook. Again, pretty good. There's a couple of people on YouTube that have gone through this book and corrected a few chords here and there, but jeepers, you know, a guy like me, it's pretty good. I also have this in digital as well, so it's pretty good. One of the best books I've ever read is The Songwriting Secrets of the Beatles by Dominic Pedler. This book is thick. Look at that. That's thick. To be fair, I haven't read it from cover to cover, but I've read chunks of it, and if you're a Beatles nut and you want to know about the chords, you want to know some theory, you want to understand how the Beatles wrote some songs, when you take into account the fact that they had no formal training and how this guy links that back to some books are falling down, hold on, I'm going to let them go. To having no formal training is in itself amazing. Hold on, I'll get rid of some of these books. Okay. Did I tell you that this is a good book? Here. Love this book. Another good book, and this one surprised me, The Beatles by Alan Kozin. Cheapers, I'm not very good at pronouncing some of these names, sorry. But I enjoyed this one too. There were a couple of things in here that I didn't know, some facts, and clearly this was written by somebody who has a lot of love for the Beatles, because it was crafted very well. Check that one out. I remember reading this book, I would have been a young guy, and I got this from the local library, Philip Norman's book, and Yeah, it's not bad. There's a few famous mistakes in this book, but that comes from the fact that the guy isn't a musician, so I'm not going to judge him too harshly. Okay, so that's part one, because I'm thirsty, so I'm going to go and get a Coke. So I'll upload part two later.